Okay, so we start with the first question of applications of trigonometry. In the previous video, I've already explained all the terms, the angle of elevation, what is the angle of depression, and the values of sine, cos, and tan we have already discussed. And look at the first question of exercise 9.1. A circus artist is climbing a 20-meter long rope. Okay, so this is a 20-meter long rope, which is tightly stretched and tied from the top of a vertical pole to the ground. So this is the pole, right? This is the pole, and this is tied with the help of a rope. The length of the rope is given to us as 20 meters. If the angle made by the rope with the ground, now this is the ground, the angle of that the rope is making with the ground is given as 30 degrees, right? So question is, what is the height of the pole? So height of the pole is the unknown term. Here we have represented the unknown term height of the pole as x. So here, which trigonometric ratio are we going to use? See here, the hypotenuse is given and we have to find out the perpendicular. This is the base, right? So this is perpendicular and hypotenuse. So the trigonometric ratio which connects the perpendicular and hypotenuse is sine. So that's how I know that I have to use sine here. I will not be using cos or tan because cos is base by hypotenuse and tan is perpendicular by base. I am not interested in the base. Neither is it given nor do I have to find. So I have to find the perpendicular length, that is the height, and the hypotenuse is given. That's why I'm going to use sine. So I'm going to use sine 30 is equal to perpendicular by hypotenuse. So sine 30 is perpendicular AB by hypotenuse is AC. Now the value of sine 30 you should know is 1 by 2 is equal to AB we don't know, so we have assumed as x. Let the height of the pole be x. Upon what is given here, the hypotenuse length is given 20. So when you cross multiply that, you get 2x is 20. So what is x? X will be 20 divided by 2. And that's how we get this answer as 10 meter, right? So it's a simple straightforward question where we had to find out the length of the pole and we have found it out by using sine, right? So hope this question is clear. Now we move on to the next question. That is a tree breaking due to a storm. You can mark this question important. A tree breaks due to a storm and the broken part bends so that the top of the tree touches the ground, making an angle of 30 degrees with it. The distance between the foot of the tree to the point where it touches the ground is 8. Find the height of the tree, right? So that's our question. So what does the question say is that initially there is a tree which is broken due to a storm. So let me make the figure for you. This is a tree, and what has happened is at some point which we do not know, the tree has broken and fallen down. And the top is now touching the ground. Okay, so that's our figure. So the original height of the tree has to be found out. We do not know what is the height of this tree. So let us assume this is x and y. And what has happened is this part is actually fallen down here. And what happens therefore, this length and this length will be same. So the hypotenuse length is actually the broken part of the upper part of the tree. Now what is the angle being made here? What is the angle being made? The angle being made is 30 degrees. And the distance of the point where it touches the ground is given as 8 meter, right? So this is 8 meter and this is 30 degrees. So back to our diagram here, this angle is given 30 degrees and this is given 8 meter. So we can label the figure as ABCD according to our convenience. And what do we have to find? We have to find the height of the tree. So this is question number 2 and this is an important question. Right. So what are we interested in? We are interested in finding out the height of the tree. We need to find out x and the value of y. So let me find out x first. So I have the base. I need to find the perpendicular. So which trigonometric ratio is connecting perpendicular and base? That is tan. So I'm going to use tan here. Tan is perpendicular by base. So I'm going to use tan. So this will become tan 30 is equal to perpendicular by base. Value of tan 30 I should know 1 by root 3. Cross multiply, we get root 3x is 8. So value of x will be 8 upon root 3 meters. So I've already got the value of x. Next, I have to find the value of y. And how do I find the value of y? I have the base and I have to find the hypotenuse. So which trigonometric ratio is connecting base and hypotenuse? Base is given, hypotenuse has to be found. So I'm going to use cos. So cos 30 is equal to base by hypotenuse. Cos 30 value we know is root 3 by 2. Cross multiply this, we get root 3 by 16. Therefore, y is equal to 16 upon root 3. That's equation number 2. Now, what is the question? The question is to find out the height of the tree. So, height of the tree is what? X plus y. We have already found out the value of x as 8 upon root 3. We have found out the value of y as 16 upon root 3. And now I'm going to add this. I'll get 24 upon root 3. Now, in class 9, you've done a process called rationalization. So I'm going to rationalize this because normally we don't leave the answer with a root in the denominator. So this is equal to 24 root 3 upon root 3, and root 3 when we multiply we get 3. This gets cancelled, and therefore what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that the height of the tree is equal to 8 root 3 meters. Right? I hope it's clear. So first I have used tan and I found out x, then I have used cos to find out y, then I have added x and y to get the height of the tree. Moving further now to question number 3. Okay, so the question number 3, a contractor plans to install 2 slides for children to play in a park. For the children below the age of 5, there is a slide with a height of 1.5. So this is one slide. The height is 1.5 and inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. And there is another slide for older children with an angle of 60. So this is for older children and the height is also more. So we have 2 separate figures here. The question in each case is to find out the length of the slide. So here I have to find out the hypotenuse. So what I'm going to do here, the perpendicular is given. The hypotenuse has to be found out. So I'm going to use sine. Sine 30 is p by h. So sine 30 we know is 1 by 2. The value of the perpendicular is given to us is 1.5. Hypotenuse is x. Cross multiply, we get the value of x as 3. So first part is pretty simple. We are going to use sine because we have the perpendicular and we want to find out the hypotenuse. So sine 30 we have applied. Perpendicular is given. Hypotenuse is the unknown. We have got the length of the slide as 3. In the second part now, we have to find out again the hypotenuse, the length of the slide, but the dimensions are now different. The angle of elevation has changed to 60 and the height of the slide is now 3 because this is for older children as per the question. So again, I'm going to use sine 60 is equal to perpendicular by hypotenuse. So sine 60 value is root 3 by 2, perpendicular is given 3. So hypotenuse is the unknown term here. When I cross multiply this, I'm going to get root 3y is equal to 6. Right? I cross multiply this, I get root 3 by 6. Therefore, value of y, we are getting 6 upon root 3. And now how we get this step is that they have rationalized this. So I have got 6 upon root 3. You're going to multiply and divide by root 3. We get 6 root 3 by 3. And you're cancelling this. And that's how we get the value of this as 2 root 3. Right? So 2 root 3 value is there. Now here, one important thing, if you want to give your answer, get your answer in decimals, please remember these values. The value of root 2 is 1.414 and the value of root 3 is 1.732 up to 3 places. Of course, it's a non-terminating and non-repeating number. It's an irrational number. So this goes on. But for our purpose, this is enough that we do up to 3 places. So remember these 2 values because in trigonometry, only root 2 and root 3 are there. So any value you will, in the end, if you want to convert into decimals, convert this, then don't waste time in calculating the square root. Remember this value that root 2 is 1.414 and root 3 is 1.732. So when I'm going to substitute 1.732 here, I'm going to get this as 3.464. So earlier the length of the slide was 3 meters. That's slightly smaller as compared to the older children's slide, which will come to 3.464. So I hope this question is clear. And this is, as I told you, and this is made up of two triangles, so you'll have to do it separately, unlike the previous case where we had only one triangle. So let's move further. These values, I hope you copied. These are important values. Okay, so let's move further to question number 4. Another easy question here. The angle of elevation of the top of a tower from point on the ground, which is 30 meters away from the foot of the tower. So this is our tower, right? This is the tower, and you are going at a point which is 30 meters away, and you are looking at the tower, and that angle is given to you as 30 degrees. The question is very easy. Find out the height of the tower. So the base is given, and you have to find the perpendicular. So base and perpendicular is found out by using tan. I'm going to use tan theta. Tan theta is perpendicular by base. Sine and cos cannot be used because hypotenuse is not given, nor do we have to find. So tan is to be used. So tan 30 perpendicular by base, right? So tan 30 1 by root 3. Perpendicular is x upon 30. Cross multiply, here we get root 3x is equal to 30. So that's why we get the value of x here as 30 upon root 3. Now here we are rationalizing this. Okay. So 30 upon root 3 we will rationalize. So you are going to get 30 root 3 by 3. We're going to get 30 root 3 by 3. And when you cancel this, you're going to get 10 root 3. And 10 root 3 is the answer. And when you want to convert into decimal, I told you root 3 value is 1.732. You are going to multiply that, and therefore we get the answer as 17.32. Right? So hope this is clear. Then we move on to question number 5. Okay, the kite is flying at a height of 60 meters. This is a kite here flying at a height of 60 meters above the ground, and the angle is given 60 degrees. This angle is given 60 degrees. The question is find the length of the string. Now this is what we have to find, the length of the string. So if I want to find the length of the string, this is the perpendicular and this is the hypotenuse. Okay, so I can use sine. Okay, they have used cosec, but we can use sine. That's simpler. So sine is p by h because the perpendicular is given, hypotenuse we have to find. So what is the value theta that is given here? That is 60. So what I'm going to do is use sine 60 is equal to 60 upon x. Now what is the value of sine 60? You should know root 3 by 2. And when you cross multiply this, we get root 3x is equal to 60 into 2. That's 120. So therefore we get x value as 120 upon root 3. Right? And once that's the same as you're getting here, and then we rationalize this, multiply and divide by root 3. So 120 root 3 divided by root 3 into 3, when we multiply, we get 3. Cancel this, we get 40 root 3. And therefore, we can say length of the string is 40 root 3. And as I told you before, if the question says find the answer in decimal, then multiply by 1.732, you get the answer in decimals. So I hope this is clear. So you could do this by sine. They are done by cosec. The answer will come same, but I will prefer using sine, cos, and tan for all the questions. So let's go to question number 5 now. Okay, that's 5 is over. 6. What is question number 6? A 1.5 meter tall boy. Okay, this boy is 1.5 meter tall. He's standing at a distance of 30 meters from a building, and he's looking at the building. Initially, that angle of elevation was 30, and as he moves towards the building, it is 60. I told you that as we move towards a building or a tower or anything which is of a certain height, then what happens is the angle is going to increase. Now the question is, what is the distance that he has moved? What is the distance he has moved? So let me explain this on the board for you. So the question says there is a 1.5 meter tall boy who is standing at a distance of 30 meters. He walks towards the building. Initially, when he watches the building, there is a certain angle. Then the angle changes to something else, right? That's what the question is. So this is the boy and this is the building, and the angle has changed, if you notice, from 30 degrees to 60 degrees. The angle has changed from 30 degrees to 60 degrees. So here we have 30, and as we move closer, this is 60. The question is, what is the distance that this person has moved? So in other words, we have to find out AB. So let's find out AB. How do we find AB? Now, the first thing that we have to understand is that this is a small rectangle that is being formed. This is a small rectangle being formed, and this is a rectangle, so opposite sides are equal. So if this is 1.5, this is also going to be 1.5. So the value of DC will be 30 minus 1.5. So what is the value of DC? 30 minus 1.5, that's going to be 28.5 meters, right? So this is 28.5. Now we have to find out AB. This is the distance that the boy has moved. So first we'll find out AC, and we'll subtract BC. AC minus BC will give us AB. So what we need to do is first take the triangle DCB. This is the triangle that we are going to take. This particular triangle DCB, we are going to use tan 60 is equal to perpendicular by base. This perpendicular length we are going to take as 28.5, not 30, because 30 was the total height. The triangle's perpendicular is DC, which is actually 28.5. Upon the base length is BC unknown. Value of tan 60 root 3. I'm going to substitute that. Cross multiply root 3 BC is 28.5. The value of BC is 28.5 by root 3. And as in the previous questions, I'm going to rationalize this. So we will get 28.5 root 3 upon 3, cancel this. So what happens is we get the value of BC as 9.5 root 3 meters. The value of BC is 9.5 root 3 meters. Now let's take the bigger triangle ACD. Now remember, we will not take any triangle which is not a right angle. We can't take ABD, for example. It has to be a right angle triangle. So we are going to take which triangles? The triangles has to be right angle triangles. That is triangle DCB and the triangle ACD. So here again I'm going to use tan. Okay, tan 30 is equal to the perpendicular again 28.5 upon base AC unknown. Substitute the value of tan 30, 1 by root 3 is equal to 28.5 by AC, right? Cross multiply, we get the value of AC as 28.5 root 3 meters. Okay, the value of tan 30 I have substituted 1 upon root 3. Cross multiply, we get the value of AC. Now, what was the question? To find out the distance that the boy has moved. In other words, you have to find out the length of AB, and AB is AC minus BC. So this is going to be 28.5 root 3 minus 9.5 root 3. And therefore, what is our answer? The answer is 19 root 3 meters. Okay, so the distance that the boy has moved will be 19 root 3 meters. So this will be the final answer. Distance moved is 19 root 3. Now, of course, after you get that, we can convert that into decimals. And if you are interested in converting into decimals, then I told you multiply by 1.732 and you will get 32.91 meters. Although in the textbook they have left it in the roots. So the textbook, we can follow the NCERT textbook unless there is a specification find in roots, then we can leave it as it is. But as the answer here suggests, if you are interested in converting into decimals, then that can be converted into decimals by multiplying 19 into 1.732 and we will get the result, right? So that's it. And then in the next video, I will be showing the others.